purposes, or not at all. Both of these fields are optional. In any case, I'll hit recover, and then I'm presented with some things I can do with the password. And I could simply copy it to my clipboard right from here and paste it wherever I need to and proceed with the next task. If I did need to see, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, Chris. So is there any more meat to that workflow? When, so I'm putting in a reason and I'm putting in a ticket number. Can that be sent to an approver that says, I know that we have those delegated permissions, but can I go, hey, I need this password for XYZ reason, and then it gets sent on to someone who would approve that?
You can, and in this case, I'm an all access user, so I have the ability to recover
right? Gotcha.
On my authority. But if we were to log in, and I can certainly show you, if we were to log in with a request user, then yeah, it would go through that workflow.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay. If I needed to see the password, I could show it, and it's going to be masked off by default as a deterrent to shoulder surfing. If someone comes up behind me, I can hide it again. If I did need to type that password, I could show the phonetics, and then I can make sure I know if a character is a lowercase l or a pipe or a number 1, for example. If this is a password I retrieve frequently, I could add it to my favorites, and then I would have a shortcut to this recovery process as soon as I log in to RedIAM. And you see I have the password checked out to me for 2 hours. It's a default. That is configurable. If at any point during my checkout I decide I need it a bit longer, I can come back in and extend, and I missed it. I can come back in and extend my checkout. Come on. All right, so here's the password I have checked out. I can come back in and see it again. And so later I decide 2 hours isn't quite enough. I can come back in and extend my checkout, and then I would get it for an additional 2 hours. And again, that is configurable. We can limit the number of times a person can extend so they don't monopolize a password for days at a time. We can also limit the number of passwords that one person has checked out at any given time. Now, at the end of my interval, if I do nothing, this password would be checked back in. Or perhaps I'm done with it early, perhaps someone else needs to use this account. I can check it back in manually. And in either case, this password would be re-rolled. It would be re-randomized. And so the password that we were just looking at is no longer a valid password on that box, or in fact, anywhere in our environment. Any questions there?
Nope.
Okay. The questions I get here are, well, what if it's a service account? And, for our service accounts, we're going to opt out of that auto roll process because we don't want services to bounce unexpectedly during the middle of the day. So the service accounts would stick to the schedule. But for an interactive only account, we would set it up so that it auto rolls every time somebody uses it. Okay, and that's
so cool. So yeah, it would queue up for the service account, and it would keep that password for any subsequent users that wanted to check it out. And then at the end of the day, during its change control window, it'd go ahead and spin it, right?
That's correct. So I wouldn't call it a queue necessarily, because we're not here. When we do an auto roll job, we're creating a new job. If it's not an auto roll password, we're not creating a new job. We just have the existing scheduled job, and that's the only time that password changes.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Some other things that we can do with our passwords, and I'm not sure what the future of this is, but we can actually RDP directly from here. And so if I've been delegated that capability, I can click the RDP button, and this might be, this might be a local account, might be a domain account that has the ability to log in to RDP into this box. Doesn't really matter, and I don't really get too sticky into the details of that because there is some setup involved behind that if I wanted to use a domain account, for example. But I'm just going to use the local account, the local admin account here. And again, in my environment, I do make my users enter a reason and a password. And what's happening here, folks, is that we're leveraging the Microsoft ActiveX control for RDP. It will create a session from my workstation to the target server. It will automatically log me in using the credential I chose, in this case, the local admin account. And so you see I'm RDP'd in with the local admin account. I have no idea what that password is, but I can make use of it, do whatever it is I need to do on this machine, and then sign out and move on to the next task. And in this case, we would not re-roll the password because it was never disclosed to me in the first